Today we're going to do our very first podcast with Credit 101, things they don't teach you in school. I'm super excited to get started with this podcast. It was given to me by a guy on Instagram that kind of believed in me, so I'm super excited to actually get to know him and get involved to exactly what he's doing. He's into real estate and brokerage, so it'll be cool to see how we can collaborate and figure out what exactly credit can offer a brokerage firm. So we'll see you guys inside.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Coaching Podcast. Very excited today. Today we're going to talk about credit because I feel like credit is very important. A lot of you guys also reach out to me in regards to credit, and I'm not a credit specialist. I sell real estate. I have one of the top credit specialists with me, and for the people who are listening outside of the country, I'm hearing also that if you're trying to buy assets, they may be pulling your credit from the United States now in other countries. Someone was telling me that. So we'll figure that out. But welcome to the Real Estate Coaching Podcast again. I have Ricka Williams with me. Ricka.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Let's make sure I pronounce that correctly. Welcome, Ricka.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely. Very happy to have you on the podcast today. I was very intrigued by your videos online. We had a phone conversation, and it was just amazing to see what you're doing. And when you spoke about credit, you were very passionate about credit, because I come across so many different people and they speak about what they're doing, but they're not. Sometimes it's just dry.
Right.
It's not like really passionate. You made me believe it. Right? Not saying that you're not doing what you're doing, but sometimes it's just that passion that will make people just pull people to you.
Right.
So how are you?
I'm good. Long drive, but it's been good.
Definitely. You came here all the way from Connecticut. That's how you know someone is serious.
Right.
I can't get agents sometimes from around the corner to the office. You know what I mean? Like, for real. So
I'm happy to be here.
Definitely. We're happy to have you. So before we get started, I like to get to the point of, what inspired you to get involved in business?
So childhood, my dad is actually into real estate. He's always been. He owns a apartment building in Stanford that has about, I think, 8 or 9 units. So from a really early age, I kind of was introduced to the business, painting walls, mowing lawns, things like that. And I understood the process of how he was making money. So that's kind of what started it. But because of my own mishaps in life and the different journeys that I had, I kind of started the path a little later than he did. So I would say my biggest inspiration has been him, just because it's been introduced to me my whole life.
Got it. Okay, good. So you just said, all right, you're going to follow in your dad's footsteps, being that you've been around it your whole life, in other words, right? So now, why credit? You could have did anything else, but why credit?
So originally I tried to buy a house, plain and simple, and me and my boyfriend were going to go into an investment property, but I quickly learned it wasn't that easy. They ran my credit and was like, you need at least a 640. At the time, I didn't understand what that meant and how I was supposed to get there. So one Christmas, we decided to actually fix our credit, and the buying power that I received from fixing my credit is what allowed me to, this is something we need to teach. And I actually went to a seminar, DJ Envy's seminar, and he basically broke down a credit in one of his lectures that he brought someone there. And I just felt like I needed to teach at least minorities, because that's kind of what stuck out to me, that we don't have this in the household, let alone schools. So credit allowed me to create a lifestyle for myself, and that's what kind of sparked my interest in it.
Okay. Good. So now, what's one thing you wish you had known before you got into the credit industry, before you got into the industry?
I think I wish I started this earlier. I'm 25, so it's not too late, but I definitely would have probably owned more than one property by now. I probably would be not here in Connecticut anymore. It's just, I feel like the journey started a little later, but I guess I tell people at least I started, and that's what I got.
Got it.
Yeah.
So right? What do you think about like when you turn 18 and those credit cards start hitting the mail?
I actually got my first credit card when I was 16 because of my father. When I hit 18, I wasn't getting the same offers people talk about. So when I got into this business, I was like, okay. So I had to do a little bit of research because I got mine so early. The offers weren't like, and I didn't go off to college. I went to community college, so the same opportunities weren't presented. But I do hear now that I do work with people who messed up their credit when they was 18 because of it. It's something that actually needs to be addressed.
Of course. I remember the reason why I asked because I remember when I turned 18, I got something for the National Guard to join the Army at one point. Then I also got a letter. I started getting like credit cards. I think it was like Capital One or something like that.
Yeah, you're usually the first one.
Usually, like they knew. Like, you know how you have a reminder, like to follow up with a customer? It seemed like they had like a reminder. Like, yeah, once he turns 18, we're going to get him. Right? So as soon as I got that card, I was like balling. Like, I had like a little hoopty. I was putting gas in that. You know what I mean? Not paying it back. I would take the card and just buy like dumb stuff like gummy bears. Like, and at that time, I wasn't even employed. So I had no way to pay back the card. And it was a lot of mismanagement. I messed up my credit during that time frame. And as I became older and got around some friends who were a little bit more successful than me, that's the way I learned about credit. Has that ever happened to you where you got into a situation where you messed up your credit, or you've always had good credit?
So the 5 missed payments on my credit are from when I was 17. I haven't missed a payment since I was 17. And as far as fixing it, I always knew the significance of credit. I just was immature about paying it back. Many people might say, I am the friend who tells you about your budgeting. I am the friend who tells you, like, I've always been that. It's just, was I implicated in it and executing on my end? No. It wasn't until I think I turned 18, I decided to start paying my credit card, but I still wasn't paying the debt off. I was just paying like the minimum. Like usually what most young people do, just pay the minimum and don't realize that interest carries over.
Absolutely. So what's your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
My biggest failure would probably be men.
Okay.
To be honest.
Outside of credit.
Yeah, I think that I've always had a really good foundation as far as my mother, who's always been really good at saving, and she seems to make things happen out of nothing. And my father he's an immigrant, has made a very successful life for himself, but I just got caught up in men, and that's kind of what was my biggest downfall, but created all this.
Gotcha. Have you ever taken out a car for a guy? Put something on your credit?
No, I actually haven't
come to that.
But I did help a guy get a car. I allowed him to be an authorized user on my account, which I didn't understand what an authorized user was then, but now I do. So I basically built his credit in like 3 months, and he was able to get a car with 0 down. At the time,
excellent.
It was like 2012, I think.
Gotcha. Yeah. And what in an authorized user, how important is an authorized user?
An authorized user is the biggest, most easiest way to build your credit in a short amount of time. Currently, me and my boyfriend share a card, but he's an authorized user that I made him on the card that has been open for the longest. So it would be the one I opened when I was 16. So all that history and all that payment and everything went on his credit. So his credit went up, I think, about 70 points, and originally was blocked. So it just shows the significance of how making someone an augthrized user can help you, but it also can harm you. So you got to be careful.
Got it. And harming you, let's say the individual has some negative on their card, it can then transfer over to you.
Right.
Correct?
So you don't want someone, you go ask your mom to be an authorized user and your mom hasn't paid her credit card bill in 3 years. You know what I mean? That's not somebody you want to use as an authorized user. You hear a lot of things like trade lines and things like that. People with positive credit history that can actually help you instead of harming you.
Absolutely. I remember, I was put on as an authorized user on someone's card. And I remember around that time when I was like trying to restore my credit, I have some really good friends around me when I was ready to purchase a home.
Right.
And then everyone, like, we'll push. The way we do it is the person who's ready right now, we'll push him forward,
Right.
and we'll do whatever we got to do to get him in position to purchase.
Right.
So, like, we had, oh, your mom has good credit.
We need her. Right. Right.
We need her.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, I'm on a mom's authorized credit.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
It's all just keep it in the family.
Definitely.
I'm willing to make anybody authorized user now on my credit. You need help, I can lend a hand.
Definitely. And you know, the sad part about it is when I was ready and I was asking people to be an authorized user, people in my family did not understand what it meant.
Yeah.
That was the messed up part for me.
Yeah.
Where based on poor education, they did not even understand, hey, just make them an authorized user. You can keep the car.
Yeah, I don't want it. Do what you got to do with it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, you know, is there any advice that you would give someone who maybe is in a rut right now with their credit and feel like there's no way out?
I would definitely say call me.
Definitely.
Reach out to 615up.com, of course. But I also would say Google, how do I fix my credit? And Google will bring up 1,000 different ways on how to even just get started. When I started, FES Financial Education Services helped me. And then that's kind of what stepped me to be able to go on my own. And I decided to teach. So I would say if you're in a rut and you don't really know where you're about to go, the first step in getting started is just Google, how do I fix my credit? And from there, you'll find different financial services that will help you. You'll find me, and just pick up the phone and call. At least you can do is have a conversation, even if you're not ready or anything like that. I'm willing to talk to anybody about absolutely anything they want to talk about, from authorized users to make themselves better or anything. So it's just getting started and picking up the phone. Definitely.
And what advice would you give someone who wants to start getting into the credit field? They could also be working with you too,
yeah.
Right? So what advice would you give someone looking to get into a career like yours?
For me, I woke up one day with this vision. I decided to teach, and then the restoration part of it came after. But to get on my team, I work with all women. Personally, okay. I think that women don't get enough light. So my whole team, besides my camera guy, is women. So we just embody something different. We're all strong, independent, trying to make something happen. And I'm fortunate enough for people to give up their dreams to pursue mine. So I would just say, honestly, if you want to do anything, you just got to start.
Yeah, and I strongly believe as a guy, like, women are stronger when it comes to certain things. Like, I work out at a boot camp training, and it's only 2 guys in the class,
right.
And the rest is women.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, I'm struggling to keep up with these women. They're jumping over walls, climbing ropes. Like, we do military training.
Right.
So
I do CrossFit. I know.
Yeah. So they're like jumping over walls, hurdles,
right.
Climbing the rope like it's nothing. I'm like, they're like killing it.
Just more discipline.
Yeah. So and being that you do CrossFit, you understand that it's a short, it builds your mindset,
right.
With the resistance. And I feel like women, guys, I'm sorry, women have that strong mindset. They don't give up.
We don't. It has to work. It has no choice.
Absolutely. What's some of the best resources that has helped you along the way?
My Bible, Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's legitimately what I stand on. Everybody that's a part of me, my investment group, we all read it. It's the way you can understand the mentality of having someone in your life that will educate you on being different and understanding that you can come from a poor background and still make something of yourself. Absolutely. It's an amazing book. And it's a book I feel like you have to go back to. Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. What other books are you reading right now other than, have you read other than that? Corey Smith, Conspiracy of Credit was one of the first books I read about credit. Okay. I'm personally reading right now Guerrilla Marketing. It's just helping you to understand new school versus old school marketing and understanding social media. So that's what I'm reading right now. But I probably have read or listened to or watched 1,001 Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki's interviews, because he's a really smart guy. Amazing. And throughout life, I know a lot of entrepreneurs out there could relate to this. Throughout life, you're gonna have different mentors. Yes. I'm pretty sure
you're going through that now,
Yeah.
where you have a mentor to get you to each part of your life.
Right.
Because I've had so many different mentors, and a lot of those people, and I'm not saying use the information and move on.
Right.
It's just the way the universe is set up. This person can get you to that place.
Right.
Then you find another mentor who takes you to another place.
Right.
But there's no love lost.
No,
It's
ever.
just
You served
it's
your
time now
purpose.
for
Yeah.
you served your purpose.
Yeah.
It's time now for you to fly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had 3 mentors so far. I just found my third one. The first one was just literally understanding business.
Mhm.
And then the second one helped me to get started on credit and decided you should do an online seminar. All these videos I do is the reason why I started, because he was like, you need a visual. And then my second mentor helps me with my actual curriculum when I go teach. So everyone kind of offers a different thing, and they're all still relevant in my life. I just call them for different things. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was having a conversation with an agent on Friday,
Yeah.
where he had people leaving his team,
Right.
and I was explaining to him, for you to be a good leader, sometimes you have to be a blessing and
Right.
let people go. Stop trying to hold them.
Right.
You let those people go, then other people are going to find you that need your help.
Right.
Definitely. So, if it's one myth about your industry, what would it be that you would like to debunk, like that one thing?
I think from credit, it's the lack of knowledge and people basically thinking you have to pay collection agencies, which is like the most false thing on earth. You don't have to pay collections. It's actually what they're doing is pretty illegal. So if you understand and educate yourself, which I'm here for and why we started the class.
Absolutely.
That's probably the biggest myth, that collection agencies you owe even answering the phone, and you don't.
I think if they send you a letter after it's like 7 years or something, it's like you could take them to court, no?
Yeah, it has to come off your credit after 7 years, depending on the state. Most states do have the same statute. I think there's about 4 or 5 that are different, but for the most part, credit agencies buy your debt. Therefore, you don't owe them anything.
Gotcha. Yeah, when you have bad credit, you kind of learn all this stuff.
Yeah. Figure out all the ways to beat it.
So yeah, I'm probably down with credit now.
Right.
I learned all of that.
Right. You have to, but that's what we're here for. That's why we have the class things they don't teach you in school, because schools don't really want you to know how to beat the system.
Absolutely. And like right now with the current credit industry, right? What's like a thing that people can do by themselves as far as to like start to help their credit, like right now before they get to you?
You can dispute the process yourself. You don't need me or anyone else to do it. We sell the letters on 650nup.com. Well, right now we don't. We're actually working on it.
Okay.
Excuse me. But, you can buy the letters from someone. You can Google them, and you can actually send the dispute letters yourself. It's the part that why people hire me is because they don't want to keep up with it. A lot of people are lazy. So we just keep up with the process. We send all the dispute letters. We make sure they go out every 30 days. We correspond with the credit people, each bureau. So we just kind of do what you don't want to do. People are busy. People don't have time. That's kind of what we do when you necessarily don't want to do it yourself. But it's totally possible to do it yourself.
Got it. Okay, good. So as we're wrapping up, I know a lot of you might have credit issues, and if you have credit issues, don't just forever hold your peace, right? You gotta step forward, get the credit fixed, right? Because credit changes a lot of different things. If you need to go to the banks to start businesses, this country is built on credit.
And the conspiracy of it.
and the conspiracy of it, right? Credit, and use the bank's money. My friend always tells me that. Like whenever
use other people's money.
Yeah, use other people's money. Whenever I'm doing a new business venture or something, he was just telling me that Saturday.
Right.
You got to use the bank's money.
Yeah, you never use your own money ever. You use credit cards. Like once you understand it, you stop using your own money.
Absolutely. And do you deal with like business lines of credit and things like that? Because some of the people listening may be business owners. Anything you can share on that?
I am personally building my business credit right now, so I'm getting familiar with it at the moment. I wouldn't say that I'm an expert on it yet.
Gotcha.
Because I had to build my personal up first. But what I do know about business credit is the best thing you can do is go get a secured line of credit if you want to start off. Because if you don't have any business credit, most likely they will deny you the first round. So getting a secure credit card basically means you just front your own money for your own credit card. And then that's how you build from there.
Got it. All right, guys. So you heard it. You heard it here. How can they find you online right now? Find you anywhere.
You can go to 650andup.com. That's our website. You'll be able to find consulting up there, different events that I do when my seminars are posted. But at K Real Estate, KY_real estate is my Instagram, where you'll find all the videos, all the things, and up to date what I do, what my investment group is a part of. That's probably the most up to date thing you'll find.
All right, excellent. So we'd like to thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely. And guys, thank you for listening to the Real Estate Coaching Podcast. We will update with a new episode soon. Thank you, guys. Have a $1 billion day, and I'll definitely see you at the bank. Enjoy.